hi everyone. I said hi everyone. That doesn't really exist, but they're there, I guess. Hi everyone. I am Ronaldo Malcolm. Let me get my light right. Trying to live Christ-like. Normally, my wife would be doing a live, but I thought I'd give it a shot because I feel like I'm important, and I feel like it's a union, so like why not hop in here? So, hi everyone. This is wild. I can see myself. I look very high. I'm not though. My eyes are red. Maybe I should just cut to the chase. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to expand the platform, and I want to share some things with you guys about writing. My wife kind of handles the whole spiritual stuff, and I'm more of like on the practical end, or she's like more 95% spiritual, 5% practical, and then I'm like the inverse, 95 writing practical, and then 5 spiritual. Maybe percentages isn't the best way to go about this, but anyway, so I found an article that was called 15 Tips on How to Improve Your Writing, yo. 15 tips on how to improve your writing. I gotta make every moment a moment. Every moment a moment can be something that can be shared on TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, let me do some dances. Oh, what am I gonna do next? I don't know. I don't know. What? Or if it's TikTok, maybe I should point. Maybe I'll point, and this will say a phrase like "always be who you're meant to be," or the awkward moment when you're at the black family reunion and all the potato salad is gone. I don't know. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Okay. So legit, I found an article that was on 15 tips that I can improve your writing. So I'm just gonna kind of casually zoom through these, and I'm just gonna read them off and share my opinions. So I hope you guys are excited. Okay, first one, second one, first one. Here's one. I'm probably only gonna do like 5 of these. Distraction free. Oh, by the way, this article was written by a young man named Ron Lieback. He's an SEO content writer, and nonetheless he's a writer. So if you're trying to write a book, or if you're trying to write a book, or if you're writing a book for the first time, because that's what the writer source is marketed towards, I think these are tips that'll still help you. So Ron Lieback, you can look it up for yourself. I'm pulling it off of searchenginejournal.com. Searchenginejournal.com, your one-stop place for journals concerning search engines. Actually, the engines are journaling, and in the journaling they're searching for something. I don't know. Self-fulfillment. I'm not sure. Anyway, how far deep am I into this? All right, number 1, distraction-free all the time. I'm gonna read like a little excerpt. All strong writing begins before the actual act of typing or writing a word. This means killing anything that will distract you from your thoughts. Let me start over. So number 1 again is distraction free all the time. All strong writing begins before the actual act of typing or writing a word. This means killing anything that will distract you from your thoughts, thoughts that you want to clear and I can't get it right. Maybe one more time. All strong writing begins before the actual act of typing or writing a word. This means killing anything that will distract you from your thoughts that you want clear and concise versus cluttered and disorganized. And then he has like some bullet points. The biggest culprits are notifications from social media, text, chats, or email, your phone, a cluttered environment, cluttered thoughts, people. So like in our course, which is now available on Thinkific, we actually have an additional... No, that's not true, actually. Well, okay, so a few months ago, me and my wife, we shot a course called Write the Book. It's very straightforward. We kind of just give people practical and semi-spiritual steps on how to just write the book that they feel like, God has called them to write. So one of those things that we have in there, one of the lessons in there is called something I created called creating the dojo, which is a very Ronaldo thing to say. But essentially, creating the dojo means you're finding a space that you feel comfortable writing in and trying to make it as comfortable and serene as possible. Part of that, so what that looks like is, maybe you see this corner. By the way, we don't live in a jailhouse. I know it looks like we live in a penitentiary with this cement block, but that's not exactly the situation. It's pretty much creating the dojo is just where you pretty much find your own personal space, and maybe it's a corner in your room, maybe it's a corner in your house, your apartment, or maybe it's a special place that no one knows about. And maybe you get it right, you make it comfortable, maybe you put a blanket over your chair, maybe you're wearing the right kind of clothes, maybe some shorts, maybe you got some hot cocoa or some hot tea, or maybe some nice coffee that you drink with it. So another component that comes to that, so the idea in general is just making it as comfortable as possible. The other component to that is also making sure that you're comfortable and also you're free from distraction, right? So this means turning off your phone, putting it on silent. If you have some hours beat out where you just beat out from the day where you can just write, maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4 hours even, you would then treat it like a job, and you kind of put your phone, and you would, well, not kind of, you would put your phone on silent so that you can actually, get some writing done. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my wife is actually scrambling through dishes because she's trying to get cooking because she loves her husband. Yeah, so distraction is imperative, especially for people who aren't really writers. There's not, especially for people who they're just trying to write a book. They may not necessarily be like adamant about the craft of writing. They just they need to write a book. So I mean, you gotta kind of treat it like any other craft or anything that you need to focus on, anything that demands your attention. You gotta get alone, secluded, quiet. And I'm not necessarily getting into the whole thing where writers are like, oh, you have to be secluded, you have to be in your quiet place, da 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 da. This is ultimately about what works for you. So, if and be honest with yourself, because as we say in the writing community, all good writing stems from truth. So you have to be honest with yourself if you know that you are easily distracted, or if you know what will easily pull you away from something. So maybe you're super disciplined, but if your favorite show is on, whatever your favorite show is, the Drag Race, Breaking Bad Part 2. There's no Part 2, but you gotta treat it like it's a real job, yo. And you work your way up to that. So when I'm writing, which is never, because I ain't got to, I usually do it late at night so no one can text me and the world is secluded. So, yeah. I guess that is enough spiel on that. Let's keep going, shall we? Oh, by the way, the reason I did this earlier, because I was watching a video where someone was like, oh yeah, you got to change positions. You got to always keep your thing visually interesting. So, maybe if I dart away, then come back, then go down, then I come back. Or maybe, can you see me when I... Yeah, you can still see me. And my bed is all cluttered. Got a giant pillow. This is the bag that the ring light that I'm using came in. Here's my charger. Here's my wife's robe. This is not normally messy. I think I did this myself because my wife's amazing. I sound like Chance the Rapper. Okay, here we go. So I just addressed this. Discover your peak creative hours. Hold on, Shape Up is looking raw. Let me get it right. Discover your peak creative hours. 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 Okay, I'm done. Let's see, what does it say? Discovering your peak creative hours begins with understanding your circadian rhythm. Everyone is different. The good thing is you can alter these by changing sleep patterns and using light therapy to aid in changing your rhythms. The 9 to 5 mindset is not practical. The 9 to 5 mindset is not practical for most creative positions. Find your creative hours and work within them. Yeah, I remember Sam Esmail. Sam Esmail, fantastic director and screenwriter, telewriter. He created the show Mr. Robot, and he also did what's that show called? That really good show. He did the first season of Homecoming on Amazon Prime, and he also did another movie way back called Comet. And yeah, he was explaining how much he hates writing. Right? He when he knows he has to like write a script, he will procrastinate like mug. He will play video games. He'll go out for a walk. He'll go talk with his wife. He'll do everything he can to not write. And then when he finally has done everything he can, and writing is his last option, he'll just start writing. And so it's sort of he writes out of like almost boredom, which is amazing considering how stellar of a writer he is. So despite what I said about like treating writing like a job, of course, when you're actually writing, you want to be able to stay focused. If you're easily distracted and easily pulled away from it, but ultimately, creative writing or creativity, it's so ethereal in the way that it is not about structure and form with how you go about it. Sometimes maybe you are the type of person who can just kind of hunker down and then just really get to it, just really dig your teeth into it. But ultimately, creativity cannot be forced. So like a lot of times, writers, when they're trying to, just get it out, they're just vomiting. They're just working, right? The creativity isn't really sinking in. There may be some type of creative motion in the subconscious, but because they have due dates, because they have specific goals in mind, they're just trying to get it out. The real creativity kind of comes into their second draft of it, where they get to kind of take their time, edit it, amend things, maybe can punch up certain things. So yeah, like trying to fit it in specific hours sometimes doesn't work for a lot of writers. It kind of just depends on how you operate as a writer, knowing what times of the day your creativity is firing up, So maybe it's early in the morning. One time we counseled a writer, a really wonderful young lady named Carmen. She spent a lot of time, or she usually got up before everybody else in her family. She was married, and I think she had like 3 kids. So she would get up early in the morning, and that's when she would sort of spend her time with the Lord, drinking tea and just reading her Bible and just talking to him and journaling. And so we advised her that she should also maybe extend that time and spend like maybe a half hour writing as well. So, and the idea there is that she's so fresh out of her time with God that maybe that would spill over into her writing, and that seemed to have been that seems like it was an effective step of practicality, which came from that step of practicality came from my wife. So yeah, you can always sort of work around that. You don't have to marry yourself to specific hours of the day. You can always play around with it. You can always try it in the morning, maybe try in the middle of the day, maybe try during your lunch, maybe try late at night. Maybe everyone in the house has to be just like asleep for you to function, so. Okay, next one, and away we go. This is fun. Hi, you guys having fun? I'm not having fun. I'm not. Kidding. I'm having fun. Let's see. Maintain focus. That's boring. Outline first. Yeah, you should probably make an outline, especially if you're not super into the craft of writing. Outlines are good. They give you structure. They give you form. Apply that literally to any other situation, and you will see the evidence of an outline. Your body has an outline. It's called your skeleton. And if you didn't have a skeleton, all your organs and blood, muscles, and skin would just be like a puddle. It would be just a puddle of slop, So structure, it gives helps you as the writer. It helps you to know where you're going. So, and it helps you to understand what you're doing. So, if you're a person who likes to know what they're doing, you don't want to just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. Same thing when it comes to writing. So, make a structure. Maybe kind of detail what you want the book to be about, and then you kind of state how you plan to go about it, and then you can do it a myriad of ways. You can always Google how many ways you can do it. My wife has a really brilliant way of doing it. And if she were here, I would just sit up. I would just stand up and walk off and have her come talk to you. And also, she's prettier to look at as well. But yeah, I don't know if they taught you how to write essays in school, but I think in essays they typically tell you, oh, you do your topic, and then you do your body, which is 3 to 5 paragraphs. So you have to, and you have 3 of those paragraphs. So you hit each bullet point is your main idea, and then from that you can do subsective ideas. You know, so I mean, yeah, I do recommend outlining. If you don't need an outline, and you can just go for it, then oh my gosh, my hat is off to you. Except right now because my shape up is direct. Let's see what else we got here. What did I just do? 3? Let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more. Outline first. No, we just did that one. Chum 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 chum. Active voice dominates. The dog was walked by Peter. Peter walked the dog. Which sounds and visually appears cleaner? The second, of course. The dog was walked by Peter. Peter walked the dog. Yeah, Peter walked the dog sounds smoother. Use an active voice as much as possible. The subject should always receive the action, and there's nothing wrong with passive voice. Use it wisely to make a point, change the rhythm of your writing. I'm going to the store. I am about to go to the store. I'm going to the store. Yeah, active voice, it promotes agency within the storytelling. A lot of clients that we have, they're just sharing their memoir, their life story, their testimony, as we call it in the Christian community, and they're sharing their testimony in their book. So when it comes to narrative, you can make something cleaner, smoother, more exciting, and it puts the reader in the moment when you're very active. You have the active voice. So I was kind of going back and forth with one young lady, and she kept switching between passive versus active. I think I was always trying to push her towards the more active, on our way to the party versus we went to the party, But yeah, active. Google it. Choose your point of view wisely. No, it's boring. Boring. Short paragraphs, short sentences, short paragraphs. Short sentences don't confuse. Read Hemingway, then read Faulkner. Yeah. I get down with this. Short sentences, short paragraphs. So I don't know if you read articles online. When you read an article online, usually they're SEOs, and they're trying to drive traffic, and so they have to keep your attention. So what do? They keep their cuss word. They keep their sentences very short, succinct, and their paragraphs aren't dense. I did a TikTok video some time ago where I was saying that you need to keep your paragraphs 3 to 5 sentences. You want to keep your reader interested, so keep it quick, keep it simple, keep it on the go. And then also what happens, it's like a mental, practical thing. When you keep your stuff simple, succinct, and focused, when a reader reads your content, their eyes are going to naturally glide down. And before you know it, it's 3 pages. One of the biggest compliments, or not, I won't say the biggest compliments, but if you have a reader who says your stuff is easy to read, that's actually good, right? So like a lot of people think their content they think their writing has to be super smart or super complex. No. The simpler, the better. A lot of your top-selling books are very simply written. The only people who want to read super complex content are people who are complex. So if you don't think of yourself as a very complex, deep person, then don't do that. And if you are a very complex, deep person, you might be a little pretentious because you want your stuff to be. I'm super pretentious, by the way. I like words. I like how you phrase the terminology, how you put a structure, a sentence together. I'll get into that. So I'll read some pretentious bullcrap. But that doesn't mean I'm better or smarter or I have a higher caliber of taste. You can keep it simple, and it can be the most tasteful, beautiful piece of art, right? So keep it simple. And then we're going to do one more, and then we're going to get up out of here. I don't know if I've done 5 or 6. I'm a writer, not a counter. No, I'm good at math. Actually. Paper printout for edits. read out loud. Ooh, this is a good one. By reading each passage aloud, my audio partner found an additional 4 mistakes, which led to me finding yet another spelling mistake. Perform, or guess I'll. Reading out loud. Reading out loud. Read out loud. Perform the reading out loud portion after you complete the final edits. I'll take it a step further. Read your stuff out loud regularly. Read it out loud regularly. That does a lot of things for you. One, if something sounds crazy or doesn't make sense, you hear it, right? So sometimes you won't see it when you're just looking at it. But if you say it out loud, you'll be like, the dog, but, right? And then you're just going to be like, oh, that just sounds weird. Why does that sound weird? And then you're going to closer examine it, and then you're going to edit it. So that's good. Two, if things sound awkward, the writing sounds awkward, you're going to pick up on that because you're a human being and you've had normal conversations. And when something sounds weird or funky, like, you're naturally going to be like, oh, let me fix this, right? So that's one of the best ways you can edit, especially if you don't have anybody who's willing to read your stuff, or if you need it kind of looked at right then. You can always read your stuff out loud. I would compel. I highly approve of that. I read my stuff out loud because I was trying to write plays and scripts and stuff. So of course it demands that, when you're writing dialogue and all that stuff. So yeah, if it doesn't sound smooth to you when you read it out loud, if it doesn't sound smooth to you when you're reading it out loud, if it sounds awkward or if it sounds weird, then that's a good indication that you need to, go back and maybe do some rewriting. That's one of the best tools at your disposal when you're just referring to yourself. So yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna do any more. This was a little awkward, but I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. Any questions? No questions. Okay. Nope. I thought I saw a question, but it was just my reflection. Looking curious. All right. How do you end this? What am I on, Twitch? What is this, the tick clock? All right. Well, and that's that. Yeah, I'm gonna end it. End.